and thank you for the question. This is a entry-level word problem, and when you're learning to solve word problems, it's an important step to learn to translate English statements into equations. And you'll find that in doing that, you're going to be translating specific words into things like operations. And much like if you're translating other foreign languages, you'll find that some of the words don't go in the same order. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you because I'm going to be using the equation editor, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing better that way. So this is my view of the screen, and the first thing I want to do is I want to write the statement out all in a line. What number, which is decreased by 16, is 36 less than 3 times the number? Okay, so as I said, we're going to need to translate this, and it starts with examining specific words. And so the word number, what they're saying is they've got a number, we don't know what it is, and we use a variable for that, and we usually use a letter. I'm going to use a very representative letter. For number, I'm going to use n instead of x, which is a little less descriptive. And so what number decreased? Decreased is math speak for subtract. By 16, of course 16 is just 16, is a very special word. It means equals. And then 36, I'm going to write it over here and you'll see why in a minute. 36 is just 36. And then it says 36 less. Well, less is another word for subtraction. But you do have to be careful here, because here, as I said, sometimes things are in a different order, which is why I wrote the 36 over a little bit skewed to the right. We're going to be subtracting 36 from something. So 36 less than 3 times a number, right? So 3 is 3, times is for multiplication. Sometimes people use an x for multiplication, but by the time you get to algebra, you start to use usually a dot or something more inconspicuous, or less confusing than an x. So we've got 3 times, again, the number, we're using n. And so it's 3 times n. In fact, we're not even going to use the dot. We're just going to use 3n, and multiplication is just implied. We don't use a symbol at all. So that's our equation. And now our job is to solve this equation. So here's where I'm going to utilize our equation editor, which you've now seen pop up on the screen. And so I'm going to type in the equation, and then we can get to the business of solving it. So here's the equation added to the board. And the first step is, for a linear equation like this one, is to bring all the linear terms to one side and the constants to the other. And so if we do that, I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and then edit it. And so what I want to do is to bring them all to one side, I'm going to add 16 to both sides. So I'm going to add 16 to both sides. This will eliminate 16 from the left-hand side. So I'm going to take that, and let's copy it, paste it, and use the equation editor. And we see that what the effect was is, now we don't have a constant on the left. And we can simplify on the right-hand side. If we have 36 in the negative direction, 16 in the positive direction, we end up with 20 in the negative direction. So now we want to figure out how we're going to get all the linear terms. Linear terms are the terms with the variable in it. So n on the left is a linear term, 3n on the right is a linear term, 20 on the right is a constant. So we want to eliminate the linear term on the right-hand side. So to do that, we're going to subtract 3n. from both sides. And so we can continue to work on simplifying our problem. And once again, on the right-hand side, things simplify. We're left with just the constant. And on the left-hand side, we can simplify these two. We got 1 in the positive direction, 3 in the negative direction, and so we end up with negative 2n. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So now, we're almost done. When we get to this point, all we need to do is subtract, we need to divide both sides by the linear term's coefficient. And so again, the linear term has the variable in it, and the coefficient is the numeral we're multiplying by the variable, right? So we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of negative 2. And finally, when we simplify this, the left side, anything divided by itself is 1. And so this is basically negative 2 over negative 2 times n, which is just negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. Anything times 1 is itself. It's just n. And so if we have a negative divided by a negative, we get a positive. So this is essentially 20 divided by 2, which is 10. n is equal to 10. So that's our number, which if we decrease it by 16, will be the same as if we take 36 less than the number. Let's try that. So if we take the number and we subtract 16, is it true that we get 36 less than 3 times the number, which is 10? Well, let's see. Over here we got 10 minus 16, so 10 in the positive direction, 16 in the negative direction, that's negative 6. Is that truly equal to, well, this is 30. 30 minus 36? Well, negative 6 is indeed equal to, if it's 30 in the positive direction, 36 in the negative direction, that's also negative 6. So that's a true statement. So we've found our solution, and we've checked our answer. So there's the answer to your question. I hope that that's very helpful. Have a great day.